One important, very, very important thing. Do you like Haribo?
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, we are good.
I yes, this year implement the Haribo also in my training, like a dream of children. I
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of GoOff, where we speak with coaches. Today we have a very nice guest, Ruffaut Loic. I'm in trouble with the name, but he will present himself. So, welcome to the podcast, to the episode, and feel free to introduce yourself because you'll do a better job than I.
yeah, perfect. Thank you for having me. So I'm Loic Ruffaut. I'm 30 years old now. I'm French. I live now in Briançon in the Alps. What I can say, so
Do you consider
uh,
yourself an athlete or a coach first?
coach, because this is my job. This is where for what I am paid, not for cycling. So yes, I'm coach, and I do a lot of cycling in my like free time. I have also a lot of partners, but no, my job is to be a good coach. I hope.
Yeah. Being Italian, I know you from a lot of races that Gran Fondos that are done in Italy. So I think last year or 2 years ago, you made some amazing results on the Maratona delle Dolomiti and Nove Colli. So
Yeah.
how was that? Explain a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. So from the beginning, I started the sports when I was young with running and tennis, and after when I turned 15, I think I started the cycling in the on the road in the competition. I go in the elite, close to the professional. I do a very good season in 2016, but I had at the middle of the season an injury in my hip. I stopped for 2 3 years. I can't race anymore. Do no big efforts due to the hip and back problems. So after I restart uh, slowly. Return to the competition in sportive. What I'm also doing before in the season when I was racing in elite. I'm doing both sportive and elite. And yes, in 2021 and 2022, especially I start to do more races in Italy, especially the big race like the Novicoli, which I win 2 years ago for my first time in Cesenatico, and last year also winning the Maratona. So yes, two big goals when I was dreaming for a long time, just to go and also to win. So no, it's always special to race in Italy because especially in the sportive there is a lot of good guys, road close, perfect organization. Also, many people was looking around this kind of event. So, so no, yes, it's always a good, and I like also the Italian spirit. I think it's close what I am, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
explosive people, something. So
yeah.
no, no,
Yeah,
I like to race
it
in
is
Italy.
it is interesting that you say that those races are organized well because often people in Italy are very critic to this thing. You know, the grand finals and stuff are organized so bad. You know, you can't do anything. But I've seen a little bit of races around Europe, no, and to be honest, I agree with you. Yeah, they're not perfect. I mean, races like probably the Haute Route, which you won a couple of years ago, uh, probably organized way better. But I think that overall they are not too bad, the races in Italy. So they have good courses, nice climbs, and
Yeah, no, no. If the people say this, they just need to ride in like a normal Grand Fondo in France. For example, many fondos in Italy are road closed, well organized also with the police. There are no time off because you know, haute route. Okay, the organization is good, but there is no road closed. There is time off, especially in the downhill. So uh, when you go in the race, you want to do a race from the beginning to the finish, to yeah, and to yes, go straight in the downhill. So no. In average, I have also do many races in Portugal, in Switzerland, in Spain also, and yes, there is no other country I think where you can find a lot of many Grofondo during the year with these qualities of organization.
So for the
So
Italian guys, stop complaining because it works like it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
This is
yeah. And after, it's also, I think, the same as in France. Sometimes some people are very critic, but they don't want to pay a lot of money for this. So after, it's also a question of the price of the event and the money the organization can get to organize well, also, and to provide some services. So yes, it's clear if you go to the Maratona, the organization is perfect, but yes, people are ready to put more than 100 euros to do the race, and I think it's not the same for every race every weekend.
and instead of coaching, when did you start doing like your coaching career?
So when I was injured in 2017, I qualified as a trainer and sport director.
Mhm. So you,
After, I also have a diploma in sports nutrition and mental preparation. After, I moved to Switzerland, and I create with my brother our company for coaching service, and also like event when we create some training camps around Europe, and we are also a tour operator for a lot of big sportive like the Étape du Tour, Maratona, or Haute Route. So now it's been, I think, 5 or 6 years we do this.
so it was the natural evolution of your studies, your path. So becoming a coach was something you always thought you would do.
Yeah, yeah. Before, I was just when I was young, just focus on cycling. It was just the idea to, yes, to not to be professional, but to try to ride every day far
Yeah.
as I can, and maybe, yes, in the period, okay, I say, okay, I need to be a professional if I want to be paid for ride every day, but in the same time, I yes, when I was 19, I trying to study, to read a lot about training, nutrition, recovery, and a lot of things. And finally, when I have this hip injury, I take this time to go ahead on this project to yes, to
Yeah,
take
it was
the
smart
trainer
idea.
and sport director. Yeah,
Yeah, use your time in a good way. Cool.
exactly.
So we said that you are very successful in Gran Fondos or like stage races. I want to ask you first, as a coach, what do you think is the most important thing to focus when you prepare those events? So I mean, people that like to finish in the, let's say, top 25%, what do you think they should mainly train? And second question connected to that, if instead of finishing in the top 25% of 20%, you want to win, is there any difference in the way you train?
Yes, I think overall the most important is to develop aerobic qualities, to be able to be econom, to repeat like medium efforts over several hours. It's also important to train with the specific gears ratio, try to reproduce the slope with the position of the bike, which is different than if you ride on the flat or in the climb. After that, the altitude and it also can come into the play. And I think the large part of the success in this event it's linked to the effort management, the pacing. I think it's really important to have a good, yes, a good pacing, good nutrition strategy, and also the capacity to listen to your body. But if you speak about more the training, yes, I think to develop the aerobic qualities is the most important thing. What I see, it's too much people try to focus on the VO2 max or FTP work, really high intensity, just to try to improve the number they can put for 30, 41 hours, but finally they don't they don't work on the capacity to produce many efforts with the high percentage of this. If we work with the FTP of reference, this FTP, so finally it's not the if we just look at the demand of the event, how many riders will ride at the FTP during the Maratona or the Marmot, or just maybe the top five will take a little bit of time when they push. Otherwise, just like the tempo zone. So it's mean that they need to work on the first threshold to have the first threshold higher how they can, just to have the low cost if they can, just to make sure also they don't have the problem with the muscle cramp, and they can sustain the effort and can arrive yes with a good pacing and good strategy at the end of the events. After, it's different if you want to win, because yes, if we take the two vision, if you race for a performance, or if you race for
the placement,
for
the
placement,
for the medal, for the win. Yeah.
Exactly. This is totally different, and and it's the same for me. I train to do a performance, and after, when I arrive close to the goal, I try to put my mental and my strategy to do a good place, the better place that I can. But in the training, we need to work on the performance and to see all of the vision, all of the data, yes, for the performance. And when you race for the win, you need to go a little bit further in the vision of the race, and to say, okay, maybe where in which efforts we can make a difference, and also to change a little bit the training and the capacities and the work to go a little bit further on this training. And it's also when you are faster, you will ride at higher pace than if you are lower. So yes, it's different. It all start with the demands of the exercise. But for example, many people say, you attack a lot, or you but I'm not never, but close to never work on the VO2 max or something. Just if you have the capacity to be fresh after 4,000 meters of denivellation, you can accelerate, not because you are good in this effort, just because you are not tired.
Because you still have it. Yeah.
You are not tired, and this is just the goal. It's to arrive at the end of the race without fatigue, or without too much fatigue, and this is when you can make the difference. And you always when the time counts, it's when everybody is tired.
Yeah. No, I perfectly agree on this, especially if you race to win. But I also see one thing. So you mentioned that work on your durability, work on your lower zones. Usually that is done by increasing also the number of hours. So one of the most of the best methods is to have a big load of
Hours.
hours during the week. For amateurs who usually have also another job, this might be a limit. Do you think
Yeah.
they can still achieve, let's say, good results? So they probably won't be able to race to win, but they might be able to race to make a podium on their category or to finish in they have an idea of that 10% or something with a time of, let's say, 10 to 15 hours? And if so, what should they do during sessions to increase this kind of the characteristic effort?
Yeah, no, it's clear that the time and the volume it's a big key of the improvement in the performance. After I think, uh, yes, between 10 to 15 hours, it's quite a good load also. So it means you can have place to work on a lot of intensity, but also to save the volume in just endurance for the base to assimilate the training. After this is where the coach take
Comes in.
the best part, because we need to find a solution and different stress we can add in the training to improve the performance with the same amount of time. So
Mhm.
for uh, I think for 90% of people, it's really easy, because first we need just to calibrate the training, and for many people they always ride in tempo. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first year
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
put
So free,
endurance.
they're in the middle, not too hard and not too easy.
Yeah, so just work on the endurance and time in intervals, 80 20 as we can say, and we will improve for, yes, 2 years easily. And after, I think it's also the capacity to and the understanding of the recovery. So in the ride, what is the nutrition strategy in the training they need to use to improve the improve the load during the session. So if it's for endurance, just to uh, don't kill herself, just to have a deficit caloric for when it goes in endurance and get the adaptation, and when it goes in the interval, just to have a good nutrition strategy, just to can go further in the intervals, and maybe add more blocks. And finally, if they can do 1 2 more blocks than they will do normally, at the end of the year, this volume can be also a little
Makes the
game
difference.
changer. Yeah,
Yeah.
make the difference. So yes, this is also about the recovery. If some people don't sleep well, if they don't care about what they eat, uh, also if they do massage or not, if they put some camps during the year, or yeah, so many things we can change. And after, uh, now back to our days, we know more things about some strategy we can use, like heat training or something like this. We can try with some athletes or strength training to when they arrive that in the in threshold, uh,
Mhm, mhm.
for many years, trying to implement
Change.
new thing, just to, and also, yes, change,
Yeah, to
because the
stimulate
body.
something different, no? That it
Exactly,
changes. Yeah.
exactly.
One
So,
important, very, very important thing. Do you like Haribo?
yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, we are good.
I,
This
I,
was a
I,
key
I,
question.
yeah, I was sponsored by Morten the last
Uh-huh.
2 years. And normally this year I will change for another brand, but I yes, this year implement the Haribo also in my
Good.
training, like a dream of children. I don't like when I was young. I don't like very much the Haribo, but now yes, it's good.
Good. This was a key thing. So you mentioned also heat training. Now, something that is more and more, let's say, common. So we're starting to see also, let's say, core sensors, or
Yeah.
we're starting to see jackets in the professional peloton of people use during warm-ups. But I've also seen you training with everything frozen around in the snow. Uh, what do you think are the good training conditions? Because I have an opinion about this. If the temperature is below 5 or 7 degrees, I don't go out. I mean, I've seen
Mm.
you ride in the snow. I was like, how can you do it? But mainly,
uh,
I work in the office, so I say if I go out, I'm not very prepared in something. Below certain temperature, I think I can risk to get a cold. If I get a cold, I lose 1 week. So I'm not very prone to this, but I've seen you do a lot of stuff outdoors and in snow. So
yeah, because I think this is a wide response possible. I think it will depend for average person. It depends of a lot of things like the time available for training, preparation, training, washing the bike, also the time of the day when they train, the personal motivation to ride in bad or poor condition, and the cost of training in poor condition, as you say, mental and also physiological, if we can say that. For me, personally, cycling it's an outdoor sport, and as a cyclist, I want to I ride for me for fun, for the passion of cycling. It's not my job. I'm not professional cyclist. I was not paid for this, and I also want to live and experiment all of the things these sports can give me. So I like to ride when, for example, today it was snowing. Some people say it's crazy. I passed more at 2,000 meters in Montgenèvre, but back when I was young, 15, when I started, I just go in my club training with the just one group of the adults. They train for racing. I was just wearing like a vest. Maybe the cost was for 40 or 50 euros because I just starting without protection for the rain, and finally just with 10 or 20 gram carbs per hour for 5 hours. And I was doing the training every Saturday and Sunday during the winter. And now I'm sponsored by Castelli. I wear, I think, for 1,000 of equipment just in me for one ride. So I can't complain about this. Um, and I think also with the exposure, if you say, okay, I will not go outside because I risk I have the risk to get cold. Okay, but if you never go, yes, maybe if you just go one
it
time,
gets worse.
and it the same for the heat. Now we saw every summer it's getting with more temperature. Okay, what we do? We stay at home just to put the fan and trying to have 20 degrees. No, we need to go outside to say to the body, okay, this is like quite normal for you. You need to adapt, and I think it's the I think it's just a mental game because, for example, many people say, oh, "You are crazy to ride every day under the snow." But if I'm not a good. I don't know how I can say in English, but I can get cold very very quickly compared for many people. if I don't have the good equipment. But I don't. It's not a problem if I say, okay, I will go outside with the good equipment, because my mental say, okay, it's not a problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it, and you can adapt also on this. Yeah, so I think for it's yes, it's a wide response. For many people, they don't have the possibility as me, or many people who they can also go to ride outside during the journey. They yes, they need to go inside because they do the sports after the job. Uh, at the end of the day, so the trainer, it's the a good combination. And one other point for me is to say, okay, if I need to use electricity and to see a computer to write, okay, I work, I don't know, 40 hours per week behind the computer.
Enough.
All was connected. So okay, if I write, I go outside.
Yeah. No, makes sense. So we're saying here that the body can adapt to a lot of things if the mind says this. So
Yes, and
once you go in the mindset, the body
yes, and
will react.
exactly. And after, I think for this, this is why also I say with my training, uh, if you don't want to do, maybe there is a reason. Okay, it's fine. Just go in the trainer. You will do the session. You will be happy, and it's not an obligation to go outside and to don't. You need to enjoy. If you don't
Yeah.
enjoy, it's not good.
Another big advantage of it is that, however, if you ride in the winter, in the snow and everything, you start to get very used to the bike. So you can probably handle the bike. I remember you as an amazing descender. I think this also helps this kind of things. So getting
Yeah.
a good feeling with your bike and to know its limits. And the more time you spend on the bike riding it, the better it feels. So
Yes, definitely for the techniques, and also for the knowledge of yourself.
yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
and yeah, because you really know after how your body works, and how also the many steps. For example, if you go on the really cold descents, after you can feel your body get a little bit warm and warm, to feel also the change uh, in your body. And you, yes, after, if you have this exposition in the race, you know exactly which equipment you need to
Mhm,
use
mhm.
in this condition, how to, yes, how to drive, how
Yeah, you can
to
tackle everything at the point.
yes,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
the bike uh, also during the race, and it gives
What
you a
bike
lot
do you
of
have? What is your
uh,
bike?
factor.
Why did
Uh,
you choose the Factor? Because I really
uh,
like the Factor. I think it's one of the most amazing bikes out there.
yeah, three. I used this, yes, 2 or 3 years ago now. They are also a sponsor of me. I was using an Ostro last year.
Yeah,
This year I used for the moment the new O2, and they will uh, yes, buy also now a new Ostro in the next month. So I will
oh,
use
nice.
also the new one very quickly.
Yeah, bikes changed quite a bit in, let's say, the last 10 years because
Yeah,
we've come to see, the aero bikes for the flat and then the climbing bikes. Now
yeah.
they're putting the things together. Now there is a lot of talk about aero, about stuff. Do you think
Yeah.
there's gonna be some big changes in the next years, or where do you
Uh,
see this going?
uh, I think now we are arrived in the limit, because also with the UCI, with the weight, but with the this, yes, the um, not many bike are on the 6.8 limits,
Yeah,
but I think now they try to improve the aero and the weight in the same time, and yes, now they do a lot, yes, creative things for 6.8 with the disc. Um, So we will see if the
Yeah,
UCI change something, but I
yeah,
think not for the moment.
yeah. I
After
agree with this. If the
after
UCI changes something, probably the bikes will change. If
yeah.
not, I mean, the difference between the SL8 of S-Works and the previous model is not so
Mm.
big. So if you see the bikes, they're quite similar for something,
But
no?
they will not change because if they put, for example, six, all many riders will go in the rim brakes
Oh, yeah. Okay.
directly
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
because
that's true.
with the rim brakes you don't have
But
problem.
they might change some requirements about the shape.
Yeah,
Because, for example, in the time trial, if you go to a triathlon race, you see bikes of all different
yeah,
shapes. If
yeah,
you go to a time trial road, you see it has to be like this, has to be the triangle here and everything.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
moment they remove things like this, I think you might see in the last year we saw, the hoods that were
yeah,
bent
yeah,
inside. Now they
yeah,
said no more. Okay, we go back to
yeah,
the standard one.
yeah,
It's depends on the UCI probably the
yeah,
evolution. So,
yeah.
it would
We will
be.
see.
And during the training, let's go back to training. What do you look in your Garmin? First, as a coach, what do you
Yeah.
look in the Garmin in the data of the people you train? And instead, for yourself, where you are riding, what are the key things that you want to keep under control?
Yeah, so for my trainees, after the ride, so I mainly check the timing zone. Yes, during the ride. Also the
Which zones
power.
do you use? The
Uh,
oh,
I use a WKO 5, so it's 9. But it depends. After for me, the most important is to calibrate the zone
mhm,
2, the endurance. So we use like some lactate testing.
mhm,
After, okay, the tempo SST and the threshold zone with the critical power or the lactate test. And
mhm,
after we have the VO2 max zone, and if we use with WKO for the FRC and the P max.
mhm,
So yes, the time in zone, after also the power, heart rate, and cadence. I like to see how the cadence goes in time. So during the exercise, when I put some exercise, uh, the decoupling between power and heart rate before and after if they do exercise, and if I have people who they take lactate just to check the lactate
okay.
value of every. So this is at the for one ride, and during the training in the Garmin, for me, I have many page, but mainly it's the 3 seconds power. After it's more the when I do exercise the lap power, the heart rate. For some workout, the kilojoule also.
Mhm.
If I want certain amount of kilojoule,
Long
uh,
rides.
yeah, from rides or intensity, and when I want to have some works before to try to start exercise. If I do heat training, it's like a temperature. So yes, it depends what I want to work and to see.
So yeah, it depends a lot. But you are saying you look also at the cadence, which is something that is, let's say, it's been debated a bit in the last years. What do you see? Like people that the more they get tired, the lower cadence they have, or
Yeah,
why do you
yeah,
think the cadence is
yes.
relevant?
If for example, let's speak about one session or 5 minutes
Mhm,
SST or second threshold. If, for example, if I say, okay, free cadence, uh, and if the rider ride at 55 RPM for all of the first uh, three first set, and if I saw the cadence was starting to go a bit lower for the uh, four and for the last one, maybe I ask how was the feeling during because when you start to be a little bit tired, you will trying to use more your muscle than your cardio. So you will start to decrease the cadence. So I think, and I was looking, it's a good indication of the fatigue also,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also
makes sense.
the time they go out of the saddle, we can see in the change of variation of the cadence. If you are fresh and you feel good, you can during interval stay in the saddle, and when you start to to be a little bit more tired, you will go mostly go out of the saddle more with more frequent. So it's
Mhm.
also a good indicator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I personally don't use it a lot. I usually tend to let people choose their cadence. But sometimes I do some works on maximum cadence to improve, the coordination of the person and
Yeah,
to recruit something from the neuromuscular side. But yeah, generally is something. No, it's interesting what you said because it can tell something, and
yeah,
I didn't consider it a lot so far.
yeah,
So
yes.
nice
If
tip.
you, and me also in some, if I want to work in the power zone, even if I don't get like a guidance for cadence, I say, okay, it's free, but just check how what
Mhm.
the people do with the cadence in the training also.
And when deciding what to do for a certain athlete that you follow, so obviously they have some races in mind, so you train for the race. But in training for the race, do you prefer to make their good points even better, or to say, you're very weak in endurance, you should focus on endurance, or you're very weak in sprints, you should at least put the sprints to a decent level? What do you tend to do? You tend to optimize for the race, you tend to make a general base level for everything and then work on what is most important.
So for this depends what's the goal in the short, medium, and long term.
Mhm.
Because if people say, okay, I want to train, and my goal is to be here in 3 years. Okay, we will work differently as you say, okay, I start in January now, but I want to do these events in July this year, and I want to be in my best shape for now. Okay, so we will not have the same vision of training if we have 6 months to train, or if the big goals and the main goal of the coaching will be in 3 years. What it's clear, I always train with the focusing of the demands of the events.
Mhm.
So yes, if the people want to do like an grand fondo, the sport full or something like this, okay, we will need to work on endurance. If the yes, people want to do like a sprint in piste, uh,
Yeah. Or
it's not,
criteriums.
yeah, or criterium, it's totally different. After for the strategy, it will depends on the uh, time available for training. For some people, we have time to work on the weakness, and for some people we just need to prioritize. It's what we speak a little bit before. It's for people, okay, strength training, it's good, but for some people we don't have time to do this because they just have 2 times or 3 times to ride in the week. So we need to prioritize and to have the better cost of time expend and the
Yeah,
benefits.
yeah, yeah. I also see something that I like to do is, for example, I see a Grand Fondo rider who has, sprint 5 seconds, 700 watts, which you say, you know, it can be better, but I don't want to train this guy on the sprint because he wants to do Grand Fondos. So what I find here is that when the season ends and when we have, let's say, the start of the new season, which is for my ideas is November and December, which kind of off season starts the preparation for the new season. I tend to work a little bit on the weak sides. So this means sprints for guys who do Gran Fondos, or probably steady pace and let's say threshold endurance for guys that do crit. In this
Yeah.
way, it's not specific for their event, but it brings everything a little bit higher. So in case there is a semi-sprint in Grand Fond or a breakaway, they have a little bit more kick, or if they go in a
Yeah.
breakaway with two people in a criterium, they can handle it.
Yeah,
But
but yes, after I think, for example, the sprints for the Grand Fondo, many people say, okay, we don't do sprints, but if you check the demand of the events, many Grand Fondo, they have at the beginning time with in the peloton, which they have many peak power, and so I think for the weakness there are 2 points. The first point it's okay. For example, if we take the sprint vision, okay, sprint vision maybe it's not an big point for the performance in Grand Fondo, but we know sprints can improve also efficiency in the training process. So we can use this for this, like a stimulus for this, or as we start to explain before, because in some Grand Fondo for the first 30 minutes there is like a flat part, and if we just have a low cost of these efforts, we need just to have maybe a stimulation in the 2 weeks before with some sprint at the beginning of the ride in endurance, just to when the riders arrive here and when he arrived in the race and he needs to do 20 repetition of 10 seconds more than VO2 max, they these efforts don't crush him.
yeah, this is also a very nice idea. So to put like the specific preparation for the race, consider what you actually do in the first part of the race, because I agree that there are times of an hour in the sportful, but the first hour, if you come to the first climb that you are completely
Yeah,
demolished by the small attacks, you're not
yeah.
gonna have fun on the Mangen or Rolle or whatever.
Yes, I think this it's uh, kind of same of the acclimatation when it's hot. Maybe in the last 2 3 weeks of the before the event, you just need to have a stimulation. It's not like a development, but it's just a stimulation of the body in some different thing. When the rider we will have to go in the race.
But one interesting thing, so in the summer, we said there is heat adaptation, and there is altitude adaptation. No, so the two things
Yeah,
usually are very difficult to reach at the same time, because if you go 3,000 meter, it's usually cold. It's very hard
yeah,
to find 35 degrees in Livigno or in the
yeah.
height. What do you think is best to tackle? Probably for Grand Fondos, you probably look at the temperature that is in the area, and you see, if all the race is at 2,000 meters and 15 degrees, heat training probably can have lower benefits than altitude training if you do it in a long period.
I think the problem with the altitude for some people is just the pacing, because if you say when you arrive close to 2,000 meters, reduce the power by 10%. And finally the
The
perception
result.
will stay the same, uh, and finally they will not go over the limit or over the zone. So I think for the majority of the person, the altitude, if they don't have a good exposition, I think there is also two things about the altitude. There is a long exposition, like 3 weeks in Livigno,
Yeah.
but I think okay, it can help to do some efforts in altitude, but it's more to improve something in hematologic things.
Yeah,
But you can also have a good um, some exposition, like just in some rides to go over 2,000 meters of denivellation, do some effort just to have the
yeah,
feeling. But I
yeah,
think it's the pacing. You need to pace yourself when you arrived close to 2,000 meters, and just to make sure in your body the efforts will not change. Maybe you will not ride at 250. You just need to go at 220, and the altitude will not give you not more fatigue. For the heat, it's totally different. Okay, you need to pace yourself because when it's really hot, the body had another stress. But I think it's more easy to have a good adaptation with the heat protocol. Just 6, 8 ride with heat protocol before, and you can also have a good result with the low perception, like in the normal temperature.
yeah. For the altitude, it really means that you have to think about what you're doing because you need to see the course profile and to understand the concepts that because a lot of everyone that is training, let's say a couple of years in a structured way, knows that with the altitude the powers goes down. What they do,
Yeah,
they press lap at the beginning of the climb, and they keep the
yeah,
250 watts in all the climb. And you said, okay, guy, but
it,
you didn't
yeah,
understand something. You're missing a little bit here.
yeah, yeah. This is why it's I in training. It's also important to trying to for the people to understand how their body works and what is the difference, because uh, the production, so the power they can see in the computer, and uh, what's inside, what is the cost of these efforts, and the cost can change. It's not like a binary. It's not one equal one. So yes, this is very an interesting point, and a lot of things can change between some people, because some people need to reduce the power by 10 or 15%, and some people, well, just 5%. It's enough. Yeah.
Another things that I've seen quite a lot is amateurs that, let's say, we go on an altitude camp and they go 1 week or 7, 8 days in Livigno, and they come back and they feel, oh, I feel so good now. And to this guy, I'm like, yeah, okay, everything good, but you feel good because you've been there a week on the holidays and you went on the bike every day. You're not feeling good
Yeah.
because you had some adaptation from, the hemoglobin or the blood perspective or some
Yeah.
adaptation. And this is
No,
coming more
definitely.
and more. And to these guys, I usually see, you know, you had you came back after Livigno and you're feeling very nice and you're doing also better results than before. If you went on a place that it was not 2,000 meters, but at 500 meters of sea level, you would have even better.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have this problem of no, but Livigno is Livigno.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I think what is here, it's also with the altitude, to produce efforts, it's a little bit more difficult. So yes, it's clear. Like the perception can be quite more high when they are in altitude, and when they go in the sea level, they can feel, but it's just like a feeling, or well, feeling improvement. It's also good.
Yeah. No, but I mean the placebo effect is
Yeah,
as important as the actual effect. So
yeah,
I tell them this, and then I say, look, if you want to go to Livigno, go to
go.
Livigno. It should be nice. So you will
Exactly.
have fun and it will work. So We are closing here. So last couple of things. I remember you from the outroute in some years ago that you were racing very aggressively. So you were saying before that you were racing this aggressively because you had the durability, and you were also seeing how the other people around you became more and more fatigued, and you said, okay, I'm feeling well and I'm going. But in general, when you go on a big race, do you plan before, like, after 4 hours, I might try to attack, or do you make your strategy on how you want the race to develop when you think you are gonna go all out, when you're gonna attack, or you just see where it goes and have some ideas before, but then depends everything on the race?
Yeah, yes, I can't remember if I think I never wait 4 hours to attack. Maybe 20 minutes it was the max. Maybe 30 minutes. No, I really like this because as I say at the beginning, I write for pleasure. It's, yes,
Mhm,
just like a game, and in the race, I like to make the race difficult
mhm,
for the other and for me, for myself too, because I was not in other planet. But I like when at the end, the last hour, we are all in the limit when the power uh, goes down and we just try to maintain watts. So this is why I always try to make the race harder than I
mhm,
can at the beginning, because if I don't do this, just the time pass. The 2 3 first hours was just tempo in the climb, and I don't like this because I know many other rider, maybe they don't have the durability I have,
yeah.
can play the game, and also um, maybe the gap and in the final decision was reduced. So this is why I like also to have this strategy.
Yeah.
And so I just uh, I see how the race goes, and sometimes there are some opportunity who, yes, we don't expect, and we can go on this. But yes, after, if I go in the race, and I just say, okay, let's try to do the race harder than I can. And if other people, other rider want to also play the game with me, it's cool. Otherwise, I try to do this anyway.
And this is the perspective from a guy who races to win the races.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is your
and
position. With the people
yes,
that you follow, do you talk about this? Do you
yeah,
give them some advice? Because I think that if a guy that is on a definitely lower level than you try something like this, it might end well, but probably it won't end well.
yeah.
So
But so I have some rider who they are very close to the, like, riding for top 10 or top 5. And when I say it's, and for me, I do like this because uh, I don't, okay, I want to win some race, but if I if I come in the race, I want to play. Uh, anyway, I will not stay in the wheels and go just like in the climb and winning the race. I prefer to attack and to try to enjoy all of the race and finishing fifth.
yeah.
But it's okay. But for many people and the people I train, I can't take this because they are more focused on the results. So, and the best strategy is to pace. And this is why also I like to attack, because I know some people are not strong enough to follow him for all of the race, but they try to follow, and finally they play our game, because
Yeah.
if you are not strong as a rider who he attacks, the cost for you was higher than for, and finally more they come in the attack, more this will play our game at the final because they will are tired very very early in the race. So for my trainees, I say, okay, pace. In some parts, you can go a little bit over this limit just to go on the group. But if yes, after it's also to know how the race can observe the race, have an observation, and make a decision about the strategy we plan at the beginning and how the race goes and what's happening in the race.
I will make an anecdote out of this because I remember it clearly. It was 2021 and we were in the Outlook Alps. And you were racing there for the win with another guy from Brazil. My goal in that race was to finish in the top 10. So we had different approach. I remember that in one stage, the Outlook has neutralized the sands in some parts. I remember that for some reason, to neutralize the sands, you decided to attack to go one against the Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
At that point, I didn't understand why. After I understood why, because now you're explaining me why do you do something, also to play, to push to the limit, to see one to one against him, to have a tactic that can disorient the guy. So
Yeah.
that was a very, very nice move. So since
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
remember it.
yes, because in this stage, people was just following me all of the ride, and when I was on the front, I pushed 240, 215, and when he passed, he was just three, me 340, 360, and him just 300. I say okay, and when we arrived at the end of the Cormet, I say okay, I will not stop for any pee or feeding zone. I will go, and if he want to catch me after, he just need to push. And it's also a point when we speak about if you would like to attack and do some move earlier in the race. It's also a mental game because if we see a guy who we can attack at some moment when it's really difficult. For some people, it just break the mental. They say, okay, he's too strong. And for some people, say, ah, you are too strong, but you don't know. You don't know how I'm feeling. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really fatter than you, but maybe no. And cycling, it's also a mental game. And yes, you need to play this game. And yes, sometimes it's good to do this.
yeah. But depends also on what is your goal, because your goal there was first to win, second to have fun.
Yeah,
I was in a different position. My goal was, I know I'm probably not in the first 10 guys, but I want to try to reach it. So my tactic there was, on the neutralize descent, take your time, stay with the group, recover, rest.
yeah,
I remember that in one stage between, there was just the very last part of probably some 5 kilometers that was time. I took a nap in the
yeah,
middle of the race to make the
yeah,
last part. So I stopped, I spent an hour, I drank something, I slept, and then I made the last 5 kilometers on my own.
yeah.
So the approach can be different. There are the rules in the competition. Go for it and go for your objectives. So I think different perspectives of different people. There's not only one rule.
Yeah,
If you want to do this and makes you happy, go for it.
yeah.
So
And especially in the haute route, the rules are yes really different than
yeah,
in other race. So it can yes take
yeah, yeah.
yes give parts of different strategy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but this comes also probably some in feeding in some other races. I mean, you can improve if you place people around that give you
Yeah,
some feeding. So you have to consider everything that is possible in that race. So and
yeah,
use them to your advantage. For me, it
yeah,
was just staying in the wheel. If I saw you attack, I said, yeah, yeah, go, goodbye, see you at the
yeah,
finish. Yeah. But instead, if I saw the guys that I was competing with for in my case, the fifth or sixth or seventh place, I would say, okay, this guy, I cannot leave him. So if he
yeah,
attacks,
yeah.
I follow.
Yeah, and if you pace yourself with the good strategy, even if one rider seems it's is stronger, maybe if you are not far, if he crack or if he have something, you can go close to this guy. If you just try to follow, yes, and you just trust yourself, and there is no way you can trying to go close to him.
Yeah. So understand what is the competition, what are your limits, and why you do the race. No, that is the main question. Where will you see you next year? I mean, this year, in
This year,
2024. What are your main goals?
my main goals it's the Haute-Zeller
Mhm.
in August. Also the Maratona. I will go also in the Nove Coli, in the yes, mini race. After I will trying to do some new challenge in Portugal. Also the Taiwan KM challenge.
Ah, nice.
Yes,
That is nice.
maybe some one or two race in Spain. Yes, I would try to do new things. It's good to do some big race, but when you have win one time, for me it's okay.
Yeah.
It's done after. It's also always cool to trying to reach this emotion to cross the line first in the big events, but it's also good to trying to have a new challenge, to find new people, meet in another country. Yes, new experience.
And gravel, you like it? You don't like it?
No, I can't say I don't like it. Don't take I don't take time to do. I think I will try in the next years to explore more in gravel around my house, because there is a lot of things to do. After for the race, I think we have many events for the moments in the road, and I think the gravel will go more like in yes, like an ultra, to 10 hours of racing for some events, or for me it's a little bit, it's not the same as what we do now, but good for some people.
So you see, I mean, you really like road cycling. There are a lot of things to do in road cycling.
Yeah, it's clear.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, good. Loic, many thanks for the conversation. I think we touched
thanks to you.
A lot of things on the Gran Fondo side, on how to coach for this side, and I think it's been very interesting.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you
again.
very much. Thank you, and see you on the race.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If I ever come back, I'm overweight right now. I will try to do my best. See you around. Probably we'll see each other in some races in Italy, I hope.
Yeah. Thank
Ciao,
you. Ciao.
Bye.